Hey everyone, I'm TM Sparrow, writer and homeschooling mom, and today I'm going to tell you about Kishotenketsu. Back in March, when I posted my video about the different kinds of plot structures, it was pointed out to me that every plot structure I mentioned was from the Western world. This really got me thinking, and with some help from a commenter to get me started, I ended up researching an Eastern plot structure called Kishotenketsu. I didn't really understand it at first, which is why it's taken me 3 months to get to a point where I felt comfortable enough with my knowledge on the topic to be able to make this video. Kishotenketsu is an absolutely fascinating plot structure. It differs from every other plot structure I've studied in that it doesn't rely on conflict to be a driving force of the story. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Kishotenketsu is a 4-act plot structure, and each part of the name is actually one of the acts in this structure. Ki, Sho, Ten, and Ketsu. It breaks down like this. Act 1, Ki. This is the introduction, where the characters, setting, and other story elements are established. Act 2, Sho. The story elements are further developed, but there are no major changes yet. Act 3, Ten. This is the core of the plot. In this act, there is a major change, or a new surprising element is introduced. Act 4, Ketsu. The final act draws a conclusion from the first 2 acts and the 3rd act, creating a cohesive whole. This structure is well known for being used in the Japanese yankama, or 4-panel manga. It's also a really great structure to use if you want to focus primarily on character studies or development. While there is no Western equivalent to Kishotenketsu, I would definitely classify it as a character-driven plot. Because while there can be a central conflict, it isn't necessary to this type of plot, as conflict is not a driving force of this narrative structure. The really cool thing about this plot structure is that it allows conflict to be a vehicle for any number of other things, as opposed to things like character being a vehicle for the plot. For example, in the Save the Cat plot structure, the A plot, or the primary plot, focuses on the external conflict, and the B plot, or the secondary plot, focuses on the internal conflict. In Kishotenketsu, the primary plot seems to focus more on the internal conflict and character development. Kishotenketsu was originally developed as a structure for Chinese poetry. A really great example of that is this poem by Sanyo Kai. Here are the daughters of Itoya in Osaka. The eldest daughter is 16 and the younger is 14. In Japan, warriors have always killed enemies with bows and arrows. However, the daughters of Itoya kill only with their eyes. So you can see how the 3rd stanza, or act, seems to have nothing at all to do with the first 2 parts, but then the 4th part ties it all back up together. A really good example of Kishotenketsu in a longer format is the Studio Ghibli movie Kiki's Delivery Service. And I was actually able to watch the movie and break it down into the 4 parts of the structure. Act 1, Ki. A young girl named Kiki leaves her home to begin a year of living on her own to train as a witch. Act 2, Sho. Kiki moves to a new city where she meets Tombo, Asano, and Ursula as she starts her own delivery service. Act 3, 10. Kiki loses her magical abilities because of her insecurities. Act 4. Ketsu. Kiki regains her magic and rescues Tombo. With her confidence restored, she settles into life in her new city with her new friends. Obviously, there's a lot more that happens in the movie, but these are the main points that make up the plot structure. There are some minor conflicts here and there, some really great character moments for Kiki, as well as moments that really showcase her insecurities. That's the point of the story, after all. Kiki has to overcome her self-doubt and insecurities so that she can make the most of her time living on her own. It's about her internal struggle to overcome that weakness. I would describe Kishotenketsu as a simple but elegant plot structure. In no way do I mean that simple is a bad thing. The simplicity in the plot structure allows for greater complexity in other areas. Or you could just keep everything simple and really focus on the themes and messages. It's beautiful and highly adaptable. Now that I've learned more about this plot structure, I can really see it at work in some of my other favorite media. Another great example would be Fruits Basket. The plot itself does have something of a central conflict with the curse and Akito, but that isn't the main focus of the story. The main focus is really the internal struggle of the characters and how it affects their relationships. So yeah, as someone who really loves character-driven plots, Kishotenketsu is pretty high on my list. I really enjoyed researching and learning more about this structure, even though there is surprisingly little information about it out there. I did find a few good resources though, and I will link those in the description in case anyone else is interested. So that's all I have for you today. How do you feel about a plot with no central conflict? You can let me know in the comments down below, or, as always, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. And if you want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos on Sundays. See you next time. I'm TM Sparrow, writer and Every plot structure I mentioned in that video was from the Western world. So and with some help from a commenter to get me started on the right track. That's not how it goes. In this act, a major change or a new surprising element. No. Oh my god. In this act, there is a major change or a new surprising twist is introduced. A new surprising element is introduced. That's okay. Your daughter's not trying to sleep in the room right next to you or anything. Be as loud as you want with your frustration. In this act, there is a major change. Why do I keep freezing right there? It's also a really great structure to It's also a really great okay, come on. Because while there can be a central it's fine, everything is fine. I'm not internally screaming or anything like that. For example, in the Save the my brain was going, save the plot! Chewie! We have to save the plot! For example, in the save the plot, oh my god! It saved the cat. Meow, meow, meow. The A plot, or the primary plot, focuses on the external struggle, whereas the B plot, or the secondary plot, I said external struggle again, didn't I? Bleh.